Who is the Elation Paladin brick really good for? Who should walk away? And does it actually make sense for the average buyer who just wants a reliable wash for a backyard party or a small venue? If you're trying to decide whether this 360W RGBW floodlight belongs in your rig, you're probably juggling questions about power draw, weather protection, and how much control you really need on a night that could go from rain-soaked to sunny in a flash. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I get the hesitation because stage lighting can feel like stepping into a hardware store. You see a glossy spec sheet, a handful of glowing 5-star reviews, and then the realization that the real test is how the unit behaves when you actually mount it, wire it into a DMX network, and run it for a full night. The Paladin brick sits in a crowded segment of outdoor wash fixtures, and the biggest risk is ending up with a light that either overpromises on output or underdelivers on durability when the weather turns. That's why I dug into the community chatter, the rating breakdown, and the design details that matter once you've taken it out of the box. First off, the 360W rating comes from a 24x15W LED array, basically a grid of 24 modules each delivering 15W. In practice, that translates to a bright, even wash that can easily cover a 30-foot diameter area without hotspots. For anyone running a small outdoor concert, a wedding reception, or a corporate trade show booth, that kind of output means you can throw vivid colors across a stage or FOD without having to stack multiple smaller fixtures. The real win here is the built-in RGBW architecture. Most wash lights rely on just RGB, which can make pure whites look a little washed out. Adding a dedicated white channel gives you true, crisp whites for moments when you need a clean background or a subtle daylight look, something a lot of budget competitors struggle with. The 32-cell control is another feature that shows up on the spec sheet but often gets glossed over. What it actually means is you can split the LED matrix into 3 horizontal zones and 2 vertical zones, giving you 6 independent sections you can dim or color separately via DMX. In a real-world scenario, that lets a lighting designer create a gradient effect that sweeps across a building FOD, or isolate a narrow strip for a logo while the rest of the fixture washes the surrounding wall. If you're using a console like a grandma or even a basic DMX controller, you'll find those zones intuitive to program. You just assign each cell a channel and start playing with fades. For a small crew, the ability to get 6 zones out of a single unit can replace the need for 2 or 3 separate fixtures, saving rack space and reducing cabling. Weather resistance is where the Paladin brick really leans into its outdoor events promise. An IP65 rating means it can sit under a downpour without water entering the housing, and the rugged enclosure is built to withstand the kind of handling you see on touring rigs, drops, bumps, and the occasional rough-handed rigging. I've heard from a few venue techs who've used the brick on a summer festival stage that the light stayed dry and functional even when a sudden storm rolled through, and they didn't need to swap it out mid-show. That reliability can be a money saver. A fixture that fails because of moisture can cost you not just the unit but also the downtime and the need for a quick replacement. On the flip side, the power requirements are something you have to plan for. At 360W, the unit pulls a decent amount of current, so you'll need a dedicated 120V circuit that can handle at least a 20-amp breaker. For a mobile DJ or a hobbyist who's only running a single 120V outlet from a generator, that could mean upgrading your power distribution box or adding an extra outlet. It's not a deal breaker, but it's an extra cost and logistic step that often gets missed when people compare price tags alone. Also, the brick's weight is more than you might expect for a portable light. The rugged housing adds bulk, so you'll need a sturdy mounting system, either a truss clamp or a weather-rated pole bracket. Trying to handhold it for a quick backyard gig will quickly become a sore arm exercise, and that's a practical weakness if you're looking for a truly plug-and-play solution. Another nuance is that the Paladin brick is essentially a raw wash engine. It doesn't come with built-in programmable effects or a sophisticated user interface. You'll need an external controller to pull the most out of those 6 cells, and you'll have to set up your own chases, fades, or color palettes. For a professional lighting team that already has a console, that's fine. The fixture is designed to be a building.